cricket. A game of patience, resilience, and strategy.
Chipped a bit off that helmet at the back.
A battle stretched over days, where skill and endurance defined the greats.
What an innings, what a player. Take a bow, Ben Stokes.
For decades, this was the sport. Test matches, slow, calculated, and methodical. One-day cricket, a touch faster but still demanding careful planning.
By the barest of margins! By the barest of all margins!
Everything changed. A new era was born. Explosive batting, unbelievable catches, unthinkable finishes. Cricket had never seen anything like this before.
It's headed the same way, on a different trajectory.
This was T20 Cricket, a format that took a 5-day battle and compressed it into just 3 hours of non-stop action. Every ball mattered. Every moment carried weight. The world took notice, and suddenly the sport was no longer the same. T20 wasn't just a new format, it was a revolution. A spectacle that turned stadiums into electrifying arenas and made cricket a game for the fast-paced modern world. But how did this transformation happen? Where did it begin? And what made it the global phenomenon it is today? The England and Wales Cricket Board, ECB, knew something had to change. A new approach was needed. In 2001, Stuart Robertson, the ECB's marketing manager, had an idea. What if cricket could be condensed into a high-energy, action-packed format? Many within the cricketing world were skeptical. Could such a short format truly capture the essence of cricket? Could it compete with the grand tradition of test matches and the strategy-driven one-day internationals? Despite the doubts, the ECB took a chance. A vote was held among county teams in England. The decision was close. Some feared it would turn cricket into mere entertainment, losing its depth. But in the end, change won. The proposal was approved, and the first ever 2020 tournament was scheduled for the 2003 English domestic season. On June 13, 2003, history was made. The very first official T20 matches took place across England. Crowds flocked in, unsure of what to expect. But the moment the first ball was bowled, it was clear. This was not just cricket, this was an adrenaline rush. Batsmen went on the attack from the first delivery, boundaries were smashed with fearless aggression, and the packed stadiums roared with excitement. It was clear, T20 cricket was not just an experiment, it was the future. And yet, no one could have imagined how big this would become. It didn't take long for T20 cricket to outgrow its origins. The experiment in England had been a success, but the real question remained. Could this fast-paced format work on the international stage? In 2005, the world got its answer. Australia and New Zealand played the first ever T20 International at Eden Park. It was meant to be light-hearted, a fun addition to cricket's long history. Players wore retro kits, and the atmosphere was casual, but beneath the surface, something bigger was happening. Then came the defining moment. The ICC T20 World Cup in 2007. The best teams in the world battled it out in a tournament unlike anything seen before. Big shots, thrilling chases, and stunning upsets kept audiences hooked. And then the perfect ending, India versus Pakistan in the final. Two cricketing giants, a packed stadium, millions watching around the world. The game went down to the wire. Misbah-ul-Haq's scoop shot, the ball hanging in the air for what felt like an eternity, only to land in the hands of Srisanth. India had won. The stadium erupted. A new era had begun. T20 was no longer just an experiment. It was a phenomenon. The format spread like wildfire. Every cricket-playing nation wanted a piece of the action. Then, in 2008, came the game changer, the Indian Premier League. A league where the best cricketers from around the world were bought by franchises, where Bollywood met cricket, where every match felt like a grand event. The IPL changed everything. Overnight, cricketers became superstars. Young players from small towns in India got the chance to share the dressing room with legends. The money, the fame, the pressure. T20 cricket was now bigger than anyone had imagined. Soon, other countries followed. Australia launched the Big Bash League. The Caribbean had the CPL. Pakistan introduced the PSL. England revamped its own T20 league. The format was everywhere. It wasn't just about cricket anymore, it was entertainment. Fireworks, music, packed stadiums, and nail-biting finishes. The format was still evolving, still growing. The world had embraced T20, but what came next would shape the future of the game itself. Cricket was always a game of skill and patience. Batters took their time, bowlers built pressure, and matches unfolded slowly. But T20 changed everything. There was no time to settle in. Every ball had to count. Batters had to attack from the very first delivery. The age of power hitting had arrived, switch hits, ramp shots, and the now iconic helicopter shot. Batters had to invent new ways to score. But bowlers refused to back down. If batters had new shots, bowlers developed new tricks. Slower bouncers, knuckleballs, cutters, variations that kept even the most aggressive batters guessing. Mystery spinners became weapons. Yorkers were more deadly than ever. Every ball had a plan, every over a battle of wits. Then came the fielders. T20 demanded speed, reflexes, and agility like never before. One-handed screamers at the boundary, full stretch dives, laser-sharp throws. Fielding was no longer just a supporting role, it became a spectacle of its own. But it wasn't just about skill, it was about endurance. T20 cricket was relentless. Matches came fast. Back-to-back games, high-intensity sprints, explosive movements. Only the fittest could survive. Fitness wasn't an option anymore, it was a necessity. Players had to be stronger, faster, sharper. Training routines changed. Recovery time shrank. Every player had to be an athlete first. But physical strength wasn't enough. The pressure was different. A single mistake could cost the game. Chasing 15 runs off the last over, defending a small total against the world's best hitters, T20 tested mental toughness like never before. And then technology stepped in. Cricket had always embraced change, but T20 took it to another level. Decision Review System, DRS, became a crucial part of the game. Every appeal, every edge, every LBW was examined in detail. Ultra edge, ball tracking, slow motion replays, no mistake went unnoticed. Analytics became a weapon. Teams studied every player's weakness, every bowler's pattern. Matchups were planned with precision. Every move was backed by data. Cricket was no longer just instinct, it was science. T20 cricket wasn't just another format, it was a revolution. A format that forced cricketers to evolve, a format that made the game faster, sharper, more thrilling than ever before. But with change came questions. Had T20 made cricket better, or had it changed the sport beyond recognition? The debate had just begun. Cricket was never just a game. It was a passion, a tradition, a battle between bat and ball. But T20 turned it into something much bigger, an industry, a billion-dollar empire. It all started with one idea, fast, exciting cricket that could attract more fans. And with fans came money. Broadcasting rights, sponsorships, ticket sales. The numbers skyrocketed. Then came the real game changer, the Indian Premier League. When the IPL launched in 2008, few could predict what it would become. Franchises spent millions on players, turning them into global superstars. Within a few years, the IPL wasn't just India's biggest sporting event. It was one of the richest leagues in the world. Billion-dollar media deals, luxury team owners, packed stadiums, and a worldwide audience. Every season, the league injected massive amounts of money into the economy, boosting tourism, entertainment, and advertising. And it wasn't just the IPL. Other leagues followed. The Big Bash in Australia, the Pakistan Super League, the Caribbean Premier League. T20 became a global brand. Each league brought in money, sponsors, and record-breaking TV deals. And then the digital world stepped in. Fantasy cricket, online streaming, mobile apps. Every click, every match, every player's performance had a financial value. But while T20 brought riches, it also created a divide. Test and ODI cricket couldn't match the money T20 offered. Young players, once dreaming of playing for their country, now had another option: franchise cricket. The lure of financial security, of a life-changing contract, was too strong to resist. For national teams, it became a challenge. Players started prioritizing leagues over international duty. Cricketers began retiring from longer formats just to extend their T20 careers. The very essence of cricket's heritage was under threat, but money talks and T20 kept growing. More teams, more leagues, more innovation. Cricket boards had a choice: adapt or be left behind. Some saw it as a golden era, others feared for the future of the sport. One thing was certain: cricket would never be the same again. But for the traditionalists, it was a nightmare. Test cricket, the ultimate test of skill, was struggling. Stadiums once packed for 5-day battles now had empty stands. Younger players, drawn to the glamour and quick rewards of T20, started shifting their focus. Batting techniques that once defined legends were now seen as outdated. The art of leaving the ball, of grinding out an innings, was fading. Even bowling was changing. Long spells, patience, setting up a batter over multiple overs, these skills were becoming rare. Instead, cricket was now about slower balls, yorkers, and quick bursts of energy. The question was simple: was T20 making cricket better, or was it killing its soul? Then came another problem: too much T20 cricket. Leagues popped up everywhere. The IPL, the Big Bash, the PSL, the CPL, the 100, every country wanted its own tournament. There was money to be made, and no one wanted to miss out. But with endless matches came exhaustion. Players were no longer just competing for their countries. They were playing for franchises, hopping from one league to another, barely getting time to recover. Injuries increased, burnout became real. Some of the biggest names in cricket had to step away, not because they were unfit, but because they were drained. The charm of international cricket started fading. Series once considered prestigious now felt like fillers between T20 leagues. National teams often played without their best players, who prioritized lucrative franchise contracts instead. Cricket was becoming fragmented, and fans could feel it. And then, a bigger question: was too much T20 hurting the quality of the game? If 20 overs could bring in the crowds, why not make it even faster? The rise of T10 cricket turned matches into pure adrenaline. Just 10 overs per side, every ball an event, every shot a risk, every match over in 90 minutes. Then came the 100, an entirely new concept, where each team faced 100 balls. Traditionalists scoffed, but the crowds kept growing. The message was clear: cricket was no longer just about tradition, it was about entertainment, accessibility, and global reach. And what bigger stage than the Olympics? For over a century, cricket had been missing from the world's biggest sporting event. But now, with T20's explosive appeal, the International Cricket Council saw its chance. Talks of cricket's return to the Olympics gained momentum, with Los Angeles 2028 on the horizon. If successful, the sport could reach billions of new fans worldwide. And it wasn't just the Olympics. T20 was breaking new ground, finding a foothold in places where cricket had once been an afterthought. The United States, a nation obsessed with fast-paced sports, was beginning to take notice. Major League Cricket had launched, and American investors were pouring money into the game. In the Middle East, the UAE had become a hub for global tournaments, hosting some of the biggest leagues. Europe, too, was catching on. Countries like Germany, Italy, and Spain were slowly building their own cricketing cultures, fueled by the excitement of the shortest format. One thing was certain: the future of cricket belonged to the fastest, the boldest, and the most entertaining. And in that race, T20 was leading the way. Cricket has never been just a sport. It has been a tradition, a passion, a battle of skill and endurance passed down through generations. And then T20 arrived, a storm that reshaped everything in its path. What started as an experiment became the heartbeat of the modern game. It brought in millions of new fans, turned cricketers into global superstars, and made the sport faster, more intense, and more unpredictable than ever before. It gave cricket a new identity, one that thrived on energy, power, and spectacle. But as T20 grew, it cast a long shadow over the formats that came before it. Test cricket, once the pinnacle of the game, now fights for survival. ODIs, once revolutionary themselves, struggle to stay relevant in an era of instant gratification. The balance of cricket has shifted, and the debate rages on. Has T20 made cricket better, or has it changed the sport beyond recognition? A world where T20 brings in the crowds, ODIs provide context, and Test cricket remains the ultimate challenge. A future where all three formats coexist, each playing a role in shaping the game's legacy. But the truth is, cricket has never stood still. It has always adapted, always found a way to survive. T20 is the present. But is it the future? Or will cricket, like it always has, find a way to surprise us all?